Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Nate Higham, and I am the sole customizer of BMORE Customs. Today's video is going to be all the questions I've been asked over the past couple weeks that desperately need answered. This video is a little bit overdue, but I figured no time like the present. So yeah, I just want to tackle some of the most popular questions I get asked. And for anybody out there who's thinking about starting to customize sneakers or anything really, I know you have a ton of questions because I did. I started about a year ago, so I was in your shoes. I looked at a lot of YouTube videos, and a lot of people were like kind of explaining, but very unclear. So I want to be as thorough as I can and help as many people as I can. So let's get right into it. So the most important thing that you're going to need when it comes to customizing is obviously your choice of paint, because without the paint, you can't really do anything else. So with that being said, the brand that I trust and the brand that most of the customizers you'll see, the brand they use is Angelus Direct. It looks like this. I mean, that's basically it right there. Any color that you find from Angelus, anything you can get on Angelus.com, it's all good stuff. All the paint works phenomenally. I use it on every single pair of customs. I have not trusted any other paint since. And so that's the paint you should use. And so we also have to talk about the paint that you shouldn't use. A lot of people will ask me questions about like, will acrylic work? Can I use a special sort of acrylic? Like this is the special sort of acrylic that you want to use. You want to use Angelus Direct leather paint. And it is acrylic, it's acrylic leather paint, but this is a paint that's more durable. It's a little bit stretchy. If you know acrylic cracks a lot. You know, it's supposed to be like that plastic, but this is more of like a rubbery plastic, and that's why it sticks to shoes better, it sticks to the leather. As long as you prepare the shoe well, you should have no problems with the Angelus Direct paint whatsoever. The next thing you're gonna need is your paintbrushes. For me, I prefer to use Angelus Direct's paintbrushes. They come in the starter pack, so if you get the starter pack, which is going to come with like I think 12 different colors, it'll give you a bunch of these paintbrushes. I think they're great. My personal preference is they work real good with the leather paint. So and they spread the paint real evenly across like a shoe surface, which is different than a regular canvas. So I recommend these. You can get your own pack on Angelus, or you can get the starter pack and they'll come with it. But outside of that, obviously you can't just use this many paintbrushes when you do a lot of detail work. Really, any paintbrush that you can find at like a Hobby Lobby or like a Michael's. I don't know what craft stores are around you, but I just go and pick up, you know, the best kind of quality I can find for the best price, I guess. Not the cheapest, but not the most expensive, obviously, because you know, paintbrushes are only as good as people who use them. So yeah, I would recommend Angelus Direct paintbrushes, but like I said, anything from a craft store really would do just fine for shoe work. Next question I get a lot is what airbrush do you use? Because I do a lot of airbrushing. I do a decent amount of stencil work, so obviously you have to have like a pretty decent airbrush. I started off using master airbrushes and they drove me insane, so I went ahead and purchased a Grex airbrush, just this little dual action. I think it was about $170 for this, but it's great. The best you can get. They sell it on the Angelus website. I'm no expert when it comes to airbrushes. I really don't like to look into this stuff super deep, so don't take my word for it, but if you are gonna take my word for it, I like this airbrush. This airbrush has gotten me through most of my career so far, which I said was only about a year, so not very long, but you know, it's held up pretty well. Does solid work as long as you clean it, which I don't, but if you clean it, you take care of it, you don't drop it, you'll be good. And that's the Grex. You can find that on Angelus.com. And if you need anything from Angelus.com, you can go to the description and there's a link there. Click on that link, go take a look, go buy whatever you want. I don't know how they're going to be shipping during this whole Corona thing. I don't know if that's going to be affected at all, but you can find all the stuff you need there. So that's the Grex airbrush. Now I wanted to have two, so I could switch in between, you know, colors without cleaning out the chamber and everything. So I went and got the Iwata Eclipse, or Iwata Eclipse, I don't know how you say it. This is from Hobby Lobby. This is about the same price as the other one. So they're both kind of expensive for just these little tools, but this has actually now become my favorite airbrush. This is the easiest one to clean. It's the easiest one to change colors with. And since I'm lazy and I don't clean them, I can let this sit overnight. I can maybe let it sit 2 nights, and I can still use the paint that's in it. For whatever reason, it just is really good at just being a good airbrush. I don't know. I don't really know anything about the mechanics of it. Yeah, don't take my word for it, but if you do, I recommend Iwata Eclipse. You can find it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it on hobbylobby.com. So far, I love it. Had it for a couple months. It's done phenomenal work. So as far as airbrushes go, you're gonna need an airbrush if you want to do stencil work, or if you want to do anything regarding airbrush. You're also gonna need a compressor, and for that, I do have a master airbrush compressor. Real little, real compact. Doesn't make a whole lot of noise. Not always the most convenient, but like I said, like this is just the starter stuff. I really haven't felt the need or really the desire to want to buy the more expensive stuff and just waste a whole lot of money when this is doing just fine. If you follow other people who do this, they probably have more fancy, more expensive stuff, but like I said, works for me, may work for you, it may not. This is just what I prefer. Now let's talk about tape. Tape is pretty essential when it comes to customizing. A lot of people can do freehand work, and that's all fine and everything, but if you're looking to move a little bit quicker and be a little bit more messy, you're going to want tape to outline your shoes. And especially if you're going to use an airbrush, you definitely need good tape. Otherwise, the paint's going to seep underneath of it, get all over your shoe. It's going to ruin your whole custom, ruin your whole day. It's going to be a big mess. You don't want that. So I use mainly two brands of tape, and for specific reasons. So the first one I use is this green frog tape. And a lot of people say a lot of things about this, but I prefer this because when you use Scotch tape or when you use any other type of tape, I've had experience with them, and you know they're fine, but they leave a residue. If you work on Vans and you put, say, Scotch tape on Vans, it's gonna leave a residue on the soles, which is mostly what you cover, and that just is gonna create an extra step of you wiping it off with acetone when you take the tape off or whatever. It bugs me. I don't like it. So yes, I do use this tape, but if I needed to put directly on the sole, I use frog tape. Works great, seals it off really well, and when you take it off the shoe, it doesn't leave any residue, and it does a good job of keeping the paint where it's supposed to be. Now, you are gonna want to get Scotch tape or some other form of this right here, and that's mostly because this holds great on leather. It doesn't leave residue on leather. On the sole of like an Air Force One, it may leave a little bit of residue, but I don't use it for that. I use this for like finer details. This is a little bit stronger and it sticks a little bit better. So if I need to, I don't know, maybe lay it down, cut out a little bit just to keep the tape over one part of the project and you know, separate it from something else, I use this tape. Again, because it's a little bit stronger, I just won't use this on the soles or for any like bulk outlining. I'll use the frog tape. So the next thing you're gonna need is very essential to customizing anything that's leather. So let's say Air Force Ones, for example, when they come out of the factory, when they get shipped to you, when you go pick them up in the store, they come with a factory finish, okay? When you want to paint on something like that, you're gonna have to take the factory finish away, because all that factory finish is doing is protecting the shoe from anything that it may encounter. If you put paint on it, paint's gonna stick to it, but if you want the best quality, if you want your customers to enjoy it, you're gonna want to take that factory finish off. We do that by using acetone. You'll see a lot of people use like the big industry acetone. I'm lazy, I just stick to what works for me. I just go to the dollar store and get this little acetone thing, or something that looks like this. Something that just says 100% acetone, usually nail polish remover. I use that, and what you're gonna wanna do is, you know, apply that to a cotton swab, maybe a paper towel. People have like different purposes. I just use little cotton balls. You just wipe the shoe down. I'll show you a little example of that. Before you put any paint on anything, before you even lay tape, I would, what we say is prep the shoe. So you're going to take cotton ball, acetone, scrub over the shoe, and you'll feel it. When you take that factory finish off, and you apply the acetone, you give a little bit of elbow grease. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to remove everything on the shoe, everything on the leather. You just want to take that little top layer off, and you'll be able to feel it whenever you're rubbing over before you do it, the shoe will have a nice smooth feeling. After you apply that acetone, it's gonna have a little bit more of a grip, a little kind of sticky, and that's how you know you've kind of taken away that top layer. As I mentioned before, I do a lot of stencil work, and to do that, I use vinyl, adhesive vinyl. I think that for me works the best. I don't know what other people use, that's just kind of what I found for me works the best. You can get on Amazon, it comes in, I get like a 12-inch by 12-inch pack on Amazon. It's like 20 bucks, comes with like 40 sheets and some transfer paper, and for that you're gonna need a machine to cut it all out with. And the machine that I use is a Silhouette Cameo. It sits right over here on my desk. There's a software that comes with it. You download it onto a computer, you create your design, load it into the machine does all the work. And a lot of people will tell you, oh, like Stencils is cheating, whatever. When it comes down to it, if you're doing this for customers, if you're doing it for yourself, do whatever you want. But at this point in my career, I do it for customers, and I just want it to look as professional as it can be. I don't really care if you think that it's cheating. I want my customers to be satisfied with it. So if there's some sort of logo that I want to put on it, I don't want it to be some sort of like messed up, like wannabe logo. I'd rather just look like the logo. And that way I'm happy, the customer's happy. I use a lot of stencils. To me, there's no shame in it. Other people may say other things, but that's on them. But yeah, I'll show you the Silhouette Cameo. Mine's old, but it does the job. Like I said, it works for me. It works for me, and I stick to it. So yeah, I'll show you that and how it works. Yeah, that was one of the first things I got, and it has made my job easier. So for all the people who are asking the questions about my stencils, where do I get them? How do I make them? This is for you. I make all my own stencils. If you would like to, I do sell the stencils if you need them. We can talk about prices if you get in contact with me, but yeah. Now for the finisher. This is super, super, super important when it comes to the ending of your project. And say you just, finish something on leather or on like a canvas type of shoe, maybe a Vans or a Converse or something like that. And I mean, obviously you killed it because you put your heart and soul into it, and you want it to stay that way. And that's very important, especially when you're passing the shoe off to a customer. So what I use for that, obviously you're gonna seal it, you're gonna set it, however you wanna say it. This is a very important step. And basically what you're gonna do is, what I prefer is factory finish. If you're doing anything with leather, anything that might get scraped off, scratched, peel off, whatever. Like I said, Angelus is pretty good with their paint. Their paint usually doesn't do that unless, you really scratch it or you peel it or whatever. But I think for myself, for my sanity, for my customers, I will always use Liquid Kicks Factory Finish over top of whatever design I've created. And that makes it scratch resistant, makes it water resistant. It basically, it does what it says. It puts that factory finish that you took off beforehand, puts it right back on over top your nice little creation, and it gives you and your customer that peace of mind knowing that you've completed the work, you've done the project, and it's not going anywhere. Now this doesn't make it like 100% indestructible, because no shoe that comes out of the factory is 100% indestructible. That's just the way it is. You still need to take care of the shoe, you still need to treat it like a piece of art, but this will in fact make it last longer. And I think Liquid Kicks I have this little bottle because quarantine is killing me. Just Liquid Kicks, leather top coat. It's great. Great little creation. I think that's it. I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what else I use and what other information might be good to give out. I think that's it though. I think I covered everything that I use on a daily basis. But I think the most important thing is that that if this is new, if this is something that's new to you, there's a big learning curve. Just about every single tool you use, you're probably gonna mess up a couple times before you get it right. And that's just the reality of the situation. When it comes to customizing shoes, customizing pretty much anything, just a learning curve. Don't let it set you back though. Keep trying. That's the most important thing when it comes down to all of this. Is it is possible. People are doing it. There's thousands of people who are doing it. I've got 1 year under my belt and it went so fast, but that does not make me some professional or some know-it-all. These are just the things that work for me. This is what I use, and so far it's been pretty good for me. So With that being said, that's the end of this video, end of the informational part at least. Now, if you like what you see, you got any more questions, just let me know. Put it in the comments. Get at me on Instagram. That's where a lot of people ask their questions. If you see me on TikTok, drop a like, drop a follow. We're going 400,000 strong on that. That's where a lot of the traffic for my page comes from. I got a lot of supporters, a lot of you guys on TikTok. I love all of you. Thank you so much for everything. If you got any more questions, go ahead and ask them. If I didn't cover anything, if you want to know anything, please ask. At this point, I would just like to help as many people as I can, because like I said, I didn't feel like there was a whole lot of help when I was starting. So if there's anything I can do, go ahead, leave a comment, drop a like, subscribe, because that would be a huge help to me, and I would appreciate it a ton. Thank you guys. Love you all. See you later.